Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to travel to Qatar after wrapping up his UAE visit on Wednesday. Qatar releases 8 Indian nationals who were previously on death row. 7 of them return to New Delhi. And Sri Lanka and Mauritius launch India's instant mobile payment system. Mauritius also introduces India's RuPay debit and credit cards. India's instant mobile payment system, called the Unified Payments Interface, has been launched in Mauritius and Sri Lanka. Mauritius has also introduced India's RuPay debit and credit cards. The Prime Ministers of India and Mauritius and President of Sri Lanka jointly launched the service via video conference on Monday. UPI settlement services for Indian nationals now becomes available in Sri Lanka and Mauritius, as well as for Mauritian nationals travelling to India. Furthermore, the extension of the RuPay card services in Mauritius will enable Mauritian banks to issue the cards based on RuPay mechanism in Mauritius and permit settlements in India and Mauritius. Given India's robust cultural and people-to-people linkages with Sri Lanka and Mauritius, the launch of this service will benefit a wide cross-section of people through a faster and seamless digital transaction experience and enhanced digital connectivity between the countries. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on the occasion that it was a special day for 3 friendly countries in the Indian Ocean region because they were enhancing their historic relations in a modern digital way.
मुझे खुशी है कि एशिया में नेपाल, भूटान, सिंगापुर और गल्फ में यूएई के बाद अब मॉरिशस से रूपे कार्ड की अफ्रीका में शुरुआत हो रही है। इससे मॉरिशस से भारत आने वाले लोगों को भी सुविधा होगी, हार्ड करेंसी खरीदने की जरूरत भी कम होगी। यूपीआई और रूपे कार्ड व्यवस्था से हमारी अपनी करेंसी में रियल टाइम कम खर्च पर और सुविधाजनक तरीके से भुगतान होगा। आने वाले समय में हम क्रॉस बॉर्डर रेमिटेंस यानी पर्सन टू पर्सन P2P पेमेंट फैसिलिटी की तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, आज का यह लॉन्च ग्लोबल साउथ सहयोग की सफलता का प्रतीक है।
The Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Jugnauth, acknowledged the historic launch of the Unified Payments Interface in his country.
Provide value-added services, thus allowing banks to collaborate with providers of emerging technologies. Changing customer behavior and growing demand for digital products alongside with rapidly evolving technology are driving a shift to digital payments. The bank has transformed the domestic payment landscape into an enabling environment for new operators, new services, and new products. Leveraging on its payment ecosystem, the Bank of Mauritius has taken the modernization of the payment infrastructure to a higher level with the collaboration of the National Payment Corporation of India and the Reserve Bank of India. And this marks a new chapter in the history of payments in Mauritius.
And joining me is my colleague Ahmed Moeen Faruqi, who joins us from Colombo. Ahmed, how does this system work?
Ramesh, you see, UPI, as we are already aware, it is widely being used in India. It's a very popular method of digital transactions that we have been doing since quite some time. For more than 10 years, we have been exposed to digital transactions, and this has happened over the last few years. That now you do not require any card, you do not require cash, hard currency. You directly take your mobile, you scan a QR, and on putting a particular PIN that you have already preset, you are able to do a transaction. Now, what has happened here is while linking both Unified Payments Interface of NPIL and with Lanka Pay in Sri Lanka, there is a seamless kind of digital transaction that is effected between these two countries, wherein an Indian national who has an Indian bank account can use his UPI-enabled app to make a payment directly into Lanka Pay-enabled merchant establishment. Now, he will make payment from his account, which will be debited in Indian national rupees, and the amount will be credited into the merchant establishment's account, which will be done at Sri Lankan rupees. And this conversion happens real time, and it will happen instantaneously without any further charge being applicable on the users. Now, this is a groundbreaking kind of a thing, whereas earlier we used to have credit cards that were being used, which would take some time, and it would also charge a huge difference in terms of the foreign currency markup fee. There will be some charge even here, but it will be far lesser than what we have come across. Now, this is one. The second benefit that we have with this UPI and Lanka Pay merger and linkage is that you do not have to use any hard currency. Whenever you're traveling to these countries, Sri Lanka and Mauritius, you would not require to convert your Indian rupees to dollars and carry them to these places, then later get converted to Maldivian rupee or to Mauritian rupee or Sri Lankan rupee. Now, this is one major advantage, because now you directly use your account, and whenever you require, only then, on demand, you can make the payment directly at the merchant establishment. Now, this is a major difference with regard to how you had to first withdraw your money, get it converted, keep in surplus a buffer amount, and then take it there and then spend it. When you return back, you had to again reconvert the entire thing. Now, this is something that has made a huge difference for the Indian travelers and the Indian nationals who are even living in these countries, the Indian diaspora. Now, this is on one part. The second part is for these Sri Lankans and Mauritians who are living there. That also has helped in a different way, because this will introduce them to digital transactions in a bigger manner. We already are aware UPI is a global leader in terms of digital transactions. If we see in the year 2022 alone, out of the top 5 countries, India ranked #1, and the total number of digital transactions made on UPI far go beyond the number of the number 2 to number 5 countries put together. So that is the quantum of the number of transactions that UPI enables, and that is the strength that Indian fintech has. We have seen that more than 75% of all digital transactions in India last year happened on UPI alone.
Indeed.
So this kind of the benefit that it has, and the strength that we have, it is being given as an experience being shared with these countries as per the Indian commitment, wherein Prime Minister Narendra Modi had talked about that sharing the developmental, positive experiences with partner nations.
Ahmed, thank you for breaking it down for our viewers. I'm sure they will have a better understanding of the issues at hand. One quick question again. Will this pave the way for a better regional economic integration and cross-border digital connectivity? Very quickly, if you will.
Ramesh, yes. You see, connectivity is the next buzzword. After we have come across so many paradigms, the connectivity is something that most leaders in the regional fora, they talk about. In the Indian Ocean Region Association, if we talk about these countries, these 3 countries, India, Sri Lanka, and Mauritius, these 3 coming together is an important, a groundbreaking thing, because you see, there have been cultural connections between these countries individually, as well as if we look at them together as well. So that is one thing that will strengthen further, because these Indian nationals who will travel to these countries, they will further bring together people of these countries respectively as well. So that's one part of it. The second is this will also further increase the trade settlements, which will happen even beyond what we are seeing as of now, because currently it's happening through US dollar conversion rate. Now with this, it will directly be done with between these two currencies itself. So it is remarkable. We have also seen how the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, when she had traveled to Sri Lanka in November 2023, about 2-3 months back, she had talked about regional integration, how the trade and settlements between India and Sri Lanka, how they can further increase. And this is what India has been looking forward to, how to further enhance these connectivities and linkages. Ravish.
All right, we leave it at that. Ahmad Moeen Faruqi in Colombo, thank you once again. Appreciate it. Moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay a 2-day visit to the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday. He will hold talks with President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and also inaugurate the first ever Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. DD India's Meghna Dev reports.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay an official visit to the UAE from 13th to 14th February. Looking at the frequent high-level exchanges between both the leaders, this will be Prime Minister Modi's 7th visit to the UAE since 2015 and the 3rd in the last 8 months. During the visit, Prime Minister will hold bilateral meetings with President of UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. PM Modi will also meet Vice President of UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. At his invitation, PM Modi will participate in the World Government Summit 2024 to be held in Dubai as guest of honor and deliver a special keynote address at the summit.
Prime Minister will be participating in the World Government Summit 2024 as a guest of honor and deliver a special keynote address on the closing day of the summit.
On 13th of February, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing the Indian community, the Indian diaspora at the Zayed Sports City Stadium in Abu Dhabi. And this is going to be one of the biggest Indian community events in UAE.
On 14th February, PM Modi will inaugurate the Baps Mandir, the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. The highly anticipated Baps Hindu Mandir, a magnificent pink sandstone temple built by Bochasa Navasi Akshar Purushottam Swaminarayan Sanstha, boasts intricate carvings and traditional architecture.
A key highlight of the Prime Minister's visit to the UAE would be inauguration of the Baps Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi on 14th February.
It will serve as a spiritual sanctuary for the Hindu community in the UAE, estimated to be about 3.5 million strong.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to UAE, which is going to happen on the 13th and 14th of February, which is going to be his 7th visit to the UAE. He will also be inaugurating the Baps Hindu Temple in Abu Dhabi, which will be a testimony of the growing relationship between India and UAE and also serve as a spiritual sanctuary for the Indian community, the Indian diaspora, which resides in UAE. With camera person Pramod Negi and my colleague Ashwini Mishra, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
PM Modi will travel to Doha in Qatar on 14th February after concluding his 2-day visit to the UAE. During that visit, PM Modi will hold bilateral talks with the Emir of Qatar and other high dignitaries.
Honorable Prime Minister will travel to Doha, Qatar on 14th February afternoon. During the visit, Prime Minister will hold bilateral meetings with the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Amir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and other high dignitaries in Qatar. The bilateral relationship between India and Qatar that has been steadily growing includes a comprehensive span, including political ties, trade and investment linkages, a strong energy partnership, and ties in the field of culture, education, and security.
It will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 7th visit to the UAE. During this visit, PM Modi will also participate in the World Government Summit in Dubai as a guest of honor and deliver the keynote address. DD India's Meghna Dev spoke to India's ambassador to the UAE, Sanjay Sudhir, for more.
This time around also there's a sort of community event that has been planned in Abu Dhabi, and we went to the stadium as well, where we saw that the people of the Indian diaspora are enthralled, excited and all geared up to welcome the Prime Minister here. What do you have to say about it?
Oh yes, there is a lot of excitement about receiving Prime Minister Modi in Abu Dhabi. He's a people's leader. So wherever he goes, anywhere in the world, people really long to see him, to hear him face to face. In this country, we have about 3.5 million Indian nationals, which is the largest concentration of Indian nationals in any country globally. This time we have organized it in Abu Dhabi, in the Zayed Sports City, perhaps the most lavish, the largest stadium we have here. The event was opened up for registrations. And the moment registrations crossed 65,000, we had to stop registrations because we could not accommodate larger numbers.
Swiftly moving to the World Government Summit, Prime Minister is going to be there. He has an address there. He will deliver a keynote address. What's in store? What can you divulge for our viewers?
Well, it's all in public domain. The Prime Minister will be the guest of honor on the 14th of this month at the World Government Summit. The last time this honor was bestowed on him was in 2018. And perhaps he's the only world leader who has been guest of honor twice. But between 2018 and 2024, there's a gap of 6 years. And in 6 years, the world has moved on. India has moved on. UAE has moved on. Our relationship has moved on. And there are so many stories to tell about governance, about our own role in G20, our own efforts to bring together the global south and make sure that they have a space when a global narrative is being shaped. UAE has successfully hosted COP28. So there are so many things which have happened in the last 6 years, and I think it will be good if the global audience could hear these stories from Prime Minister himself.
With camera person Pramod Negi and my colleague Ashwini Mishra, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
India's Prime Minister Modi is set to address the Indian diaspora at the Zayed Sports City in Abu Dhabi. The event will be a part of his two-day visit to that country. Meghna Dev spoke to some people who would be performing at the event.
So the Zayed Sports City Stadium in Abu Dhabi, which will be hosting Ahlan Modi, will be witnessing mesmerizing cultural performances from a number of people from the diaspora who will bring the fervor, the tradition, the art and culture from their states. So I'll speak to a few of them to understand how the preparations are going on and what's the festivity like. Can you please tell us what are you performing, what are the preparations, and obviously the excitement that's very, very palpable here.
Excitement too high till sky. I am from Rajasthan team. I am leading Rajasthan team, and we are performing in procession. And our Rajasthani culture, Ghumar, we are showcasing here to world. And this is our small thank you to Modi ji and to India.
We are actually about 360 performers. We are from Dubai, different walks of life, and we are so thankful to the Consul General and to the entire team who has organized this.
We are a group of 32 dancers who are going to perform a semi-classical item. Our focus is going to be on non-stop India, the industrial growth in India. So really looking forward to the performance.
We are doing a Jugalbandi, the Indian classical form of South Indian dance, the Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi and Mohiniyattam. So more than 42 people are presenting this to bring our Indian culture.
We are a team of 30 people, and showcasing the whole West Bengal, Calcutta. It was a huge honor for us. So you can see all my participants, they are so excited.
With my colleague Ashwini Mishra and camera person Pramod Negi, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Abu Dhabi.
And still to come on DD India Live. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in hospital again transfers his duties to his deputy. Alexander Stubb is Finland's new president. The former Prime Minister wins Sunday's runoff election. And Pakistan's political parties intensify their effort to form a coalition government after the 8th February election throws up a hung parliament.
of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. In a poignant display of unity and reverence, nearly 1,000 people gathered at the BAPS Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi to participate in the Visha Sadita Yagna, a ceremony of Vedic prayers for global harmony. The event, serving as a prelude to the upcoming Festival of Harmony, stands as a significant occasion in the cultural and spiritual fabric of the city as it gears up for the historic inauguration of the BAPS Hindu temple on 14th February. Steeped in ancient Hindu traditions, the ritual aimed to invoke the blessings for peace, harmony and prosperity for all those people residing in the UAE and beyond. The World Government Summit is on in Dubai with India, Qatar and Turkey as guests of honor, showcasing their significance on the world stage. Mohammed Abdullah Al Gargawi, UAE's Minister of Cabinet Affairs and the Chair of World Government Summit, highlighted the East's crucial role in propelling global economic growth, with projections indicating that over 70% of this growth will originate from the East, particularly led by India and China. Al Gargawi stressed the imperative of collaboration and innovation to harness this potential for the collective benefit of nations. Moving on, India has welcomed the release of 8 Indian nationals by Qatar. 7 of them have since returned to India.
In a major diplomatic victory, India secured the release of 8 Indian nationals who were sentenced to death in Qatar. 7 of the 8 nationals released by Doha reached New Delhi on Monday morning.
We deeply appreciate the decision of the Qataris government and the Amir to release them. We are happy to have 7 of those Indian nationals back. 8th Indian national has also been released, and we continue to work with the Qatar government to see how quickly his return to India.
Setting their foot back on the home soil on return, after several agonizing months of captivity, the 7 Indian nationals who were sentenced to death heaved a sigh of relief. They praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying that their freedom could come only because of the intervention of PM Modi. They said they could breathe free due to the sustained diplomatic efforts at the behest of the Prime Minister of India to secure their release.
Without the intervention of Prime Minister Modi, it wouldn't have been.
We have waited almost 18 months to be back in India. We're extremely grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji. It certainly wouldn't have been possible without his personal intervention and that equation with the Emir of Qatar. I think we are grateful to the Government of India, the bottom of our heart, for every effort that has been made, and this day wouldn't have been possible.
The Indian government expressed appreciation for the release of the Indian nationals, saying the Government of India welcomes the release of 8 Indian nationals working for the Dehra Global Company who were detained in Qatar. 7 out of the 8 have returned to India. We appreciate the decision by the Amir of the State of Qatar to enable the release and homecoming of these nationals. Minister of State for External Affairs Meenakshi Lekhi echoed the sentiments, thanking the Qatar government for the cooperation in facilitating the release of the Indian nationals.
मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी का धन्यवाद और आभार प्रकट करना चाहती हूँ और साथ में कतर के अमीर का प्रधानमंत्री जी की इंटरवेंशन का लाभ जो है वो हम सबको मिला और अमीर ऑफ कतर जिन्होंने ये सज़ा को वापस लिया उनका भी आभार कि भारतीय वापस आए हैं उनके परिवारजन लगातार बने हुए थे हमारे से संपर्क में थे तो परिवारजन भी और साथ में संपूर्ण भारतवासियों को इसकी हार्दिक बधाई।
This marks a significant diplomatic victory for India due to the complete turnaround in the situation when just 2 months back, the Indian nationals were facing death penalty. As India celebrates their safe return, the episode stands as a testament to the power of diplomatic resolve and international cooperation in safeguarding the rights and freedom of Indian citizens.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributed more than 100,000 appointment letters to youths via video conference. The employment fair was organized at 47 places across the country where newly appointed youths joined government service. The Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of Phase 1 of an integrated complex called Karma Yogi Bhavan in New Delhi. The campus will promote collaboration and synergy between various parts of Mission Karma Yogi. The Prime Minister called for involving the youth and making them an ally in nation building.
हर युवा के मन में विश्वास है कि वो कड़ी मेहनत और अपनी प्रतिभा के दम पर अपनी जगह बना सकता है। 2014 के बाद से ही हमारा प्रयास रहा है कि नौजवानों को भारत सरकार के साथ जोड़कर उन्हें राष्ट्र निर्माण का सहभागी बनाएं। पहले की सरकार ने अपने 10 साल में जितनी सरकारी नौकरियां दी थी उससे लगभग 1.5 गुना ज्यादा सरकारी नौकरी भाजपा की सरकार ने अपने 10 साल में दी है।
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was admitted to a critical care unit in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. Officials at the Walter Reed Military Medical Center said Austin was admitted for a treatment of symptoms suggesting an emergent bladder issue. Austin has transferred the duties of his office to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Kathleen Hicks. Austin is scheduled to travel to Brussels on 14th February to meet the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. In Pakistan, 3 main political parties intensified their effort to form a coalition government after the 8th February election threw up a hung parliament amid allegations of rigging. Pakistan People's Party chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and its president Asif Ali Zardari held a meeting on Sunday with Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz President Shehbaz Sharif. The overall situation of the country and future cooperation were discussed, with the leaders agreeing to join hands for political stability in the country. Finland's former Prime Minister Alexander Stubb won Finland's presidential election on Sunday, defeating Pekka Haavisto of the Green Party. Stubb will be responsible for Finland's foreign policy, including its stance towards Russia. Finland joined NATO last year. The president will serve as Finland's commander-in-chief. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website, ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. All of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.